3 out of 4 vegans agree that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So I guess I should stop making videos and go fuck myself. Vegan haters or vegan evangelists seized onto my critique of the movie What the Health. If you're unfamiliar with that video, you should check it out. It's where I give my rather unbiased opinion on the content of that movie. Although vegans will contend that I hate vegans, which I don't. I just don't like when doctors and experts who should fucking know better cherry pick data to support an ideological diet instead of, and claim the guise of the healthiest fucking diet ever, which the vegan diet is not. But before I do that, let me qualify this for the vegan haters that are going to focus on this thing and thumbs down me and, you know, call me stupid and tell me that I'm a trucker, so you shouldn't listen to me and shit like that. I have always contended that fasting is one of the most important things we can do for our health. It is probably one of the most helpful considerations when it comes to things you can do to improve your health. And I lost weight, about 50 pounds, for the most part, doing fasting and the standard American diet. That's right, I ate shit and lost weight. But there were some consequences to that, some long-term consequences to that. The longer I did that, the hungrier I got. So I began a journey to figure out why that was. And it turns out there's hormonal imbalances caused by eating shitty foods. Mainly sugar, carbs, refined grains, processed foods, which give you huge amounts of insulin, especially if consumed more than once a day, and throw your hormones, the ones that tell you to stop fucking eating, out of balance. The ones that deliver energy to your cells don't do their job as efficiently because of insulin resistance. I learned all of this shit. And it was, you know, it's not nice knowledge to know you can't eat carbs and sugar to no end. You know, so I learned that. And I learned that processed foods are definitely fucked up for that reason. Can you out-fast processed foods? Clearly you can. You know, if you don't eat for a long period of time, you will cancel out a lot of the damage that eating processed foods does. At the same time, you might experience more nutritional deficiency because processed foods are generally not very nutritious. There's not a lot of the vitamins and minerals that your body needs to grow, develop, and to repair itself. But leaving all of this optimal health shit, I'm not an orthorexic. I'm not trying to achieve perfect health. I don't touch supplements. I don't believe in them. And by the way, the vegan diet requires supplementation because there are several fucking things that you're not getting in your diet. So let's, since this is a motherfucking feedback video, where I kind of address your comments, and I'm going to start doing more of these because I feel I'm not getting across when I respond in the comments. And even if I do, you know, I'll respond to one person and then another person will comment as if I never made that response. So I'm starting to respond to these more in videos, especially since I'm growing, you know, subscriber-wise, and it's really hard to communicate with people on a direct basis. You know, otherwise I'd spend all my day just reading and replying to comments, when I can read some comments, provoke some food for thought, and put a video up for you guys to further comment and have a conversation with me about it or some shit. So, recently, Bailey Dunning writes, if you want scientific evidence, check out whatthehealthfilm.com/facts. All right, let me pause right there. You are not going to find unbiased proof or facts on the goddamn splash page citing the research, half of which was authored by Dr. Greger himself. And you're not going to prove anything by going to the place that you're trying to find out if they're fucking biased to begin with. I don't need to do that because I've already fucking done that. If you go back through my videos, I have cited the research that I choose. I've talked about the doctors I put my faith in and why I put my faith in them, and why I will never put my faith in doctors like the ones in What the Health and scientists. There is bias in studies. These are not all fucking know-all, end-all shit. People have an agenda and they fund studies. And guess what? If the studies don't agree with what they're funding them to prove, those studies don't see the light of day because the scientists are too afraid to bite the hand that's feeding them. But leaving all of that shit aside, I looked through these links. I only found 3 peer-reviewed studies that, basically regurgitate insulin resistance, but none of them really come forward and say meat causes insulin resistance, because meat does not cause insulin resistance. Fat does cause insulin resistance, but not the kind you eat. Your body produces cholesterol. Your body creates fat from carbs and sugar. And we're not talking the good, fluffy, happy fat. We're talking the fucky in the artery fat. All right? Your body makes the fat. Your body can make glucose. Your body can make all kinds of shit. All kinds. So I hate the classic vegan argument. Well, if you eat this, then it's gonna cause this. If you eat this, your body processes everything you consume in an effort to store it. You don't burn it as you eat it. All right. If you eat it, it's going somewhere. Whether it's your glycogen stores or your fat or your fucking arteries or any other number of fucking places. Your body is a storing machine. And the hormone that makes that happen is insulin. So when you eat, the more insulin you make, the more fat you make. And the more fat you have to store. And it is not always stored in a healthy way. And the research that I've seen, the studies that I have followed, all point to sugar, mainly, and fructose being the worst of the worst. Alcohol also not being a good source. These are the macronutrients that your body turns into the bad cholesterol. And you're also overlooking why the cholesterol ends up in your arteries. Turns out that's a body's natural response to inflammation, which comes from processed foods, excessive consumption of sugar and carbs, and yes, in some cases, processed meats also cause inflammation. There's all kinds of shit causes inflammation, by the way. You can eat some whole foods and get some inflammation. Plants do have natural defenses because they don't want to fucking die either. Just like the cow don't want to fucking die. The goddamn plant wants to live. That's why it has natural defenses against us. Thankfully, our bodies deal with whatever mycotoxins or shit that's in the fucking plants that fucks us up. All right? Our body takes care of that. That's what the liver's job is. The liver's job is to filter the shit coming through your body, keep the good shit, and get rid of the bad shit. All right? It's that simple. So, the rest of, the facts on that page are wrong. And getting back to the comment, do you honestly think they pulled these facts out of their ass? Yes, I do. Dr. Greger is pulling facts out of his ass, supported loosely by some rat studies, which, by the way, rats aren't 100% equal to humans. Rat studies are where you start your hypothesis. The end game is the human studies. But leaving that aside, there's going to be some videos that I go over at the end of this that illustrate this. Okay? All right. Also, Dr. Michael Greger has hundreds of videos on his YouTube channel and nutritionfacts.org that I think that you watch. I know that you believe what you believe, but it doesn't hurt to see both sides of the scientific research. I do see both sides. I just strongly disagree with the vegan side. And the reason for it has nothing to do with the ideology. It has to do with the health side of things. It is not the cure for what ails us. It can help if you stop eating shitty processed foods and you eat whole plant-based foods. Your health will improve in the beginning. Over time, you're going to become deficient in some things that are only provided by animals or fish. And you know what? If you really want to be a healthy vegan, you should probably drop the whole vegan shit and go vegetarian. All right? Vegetarian allows you to have a little bit of moderation in the dairy and fish department, which would more than adequately supplement your deficiencies if you go strictly plant-based. There's a video that's going to be at the end of this that covers that in depth, a lot more than I'm going to do, because I got work to do and shit. So that was by far the best vegan comment I came across. Most of the other vegan comments were along the lines of, doctors know better, you're stupid, don't listen to this guy, you're ugly, you have gray hair, so you're not healthy. I mean, really? Gray hair? Not health? You could have done better than that. And I don't feel the need to go through and pimp out all of those comments and respond to them individually, because collectively the people doing that are ignorant of any kind of research, and they're the kind of people that do the kind of research you're advocating for, which is to go to the goddamn website of the fucking biased documentary for your facts. And there's no facts anywhere in there that aren't cherry-picked, and you can find studies that dispute the studies that are posted. Why? Because most of them are observational studies, and they're not even done on fucking humans. But leaving that aside, we can fucking figure out what kills rats all day. It doesn't change that rats don't live quite the same lifestyles we do, or eat quite the same foods we do. And a lot of the fat is bad studies are done with vegetable oils, which increase inflammation. Inflammation being half of the recipe for heart disease. The arteries get inflamed, and your body produces bad, low-density cholesterol to fill in the holes and to reduce the inflammation. And that shit doesn't go away. It stays there until it clogs up and you have a fucking grabber. So that is how that works. All right, that's how your body has a fucking heart problem. Now, diabetes is related, because then your extremities, it's all insulin resistance based, by the way, as far as diabetes goes, but your extremities, the blood vessels get clogged the same way. It's just not your heart. It's different parts of your body, which builds more insulin resistance, which causes more fat buildup. Fat that your liver makes, not the fat you eat. The fat you eat do different things depending on the kind of fat you eat. Some fats are healthy. If you want to be a healthy fat-eating motherfucker and you don't want to eat animals, eat coconut oil. Coconut oil isn't going to provide all of the essential fatty acids that we need, but it'll get you part of the way there. And I think if you supplement properly, which any diet that requires supplementation to be healthy, in my opinion, is wrong, then your body will take care of it. All right? You can't eat straight vegan and not know what your body needs. And I don't know about you, but that's a lot of work. I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to research every little micronutrient that I'm going to become deficient in order to maintain an ideological way of eating. I just prefer to just eat some fucking animals and not think about it. But leaving all of that aside, you know, the ignorance really came out in a way that hasn't yet shown itself on my channel during these comments. So let's continue. Scott, this is by Rodrigo F. But when it comes to healthy, should I trust a talking YouTuber or a doctor with many years of experience, research, scientific publications, scientific data? Sorry. So your theory, Mr. Rodrigo, is that doctors are never wrong. Well, I know from personal experience and the experience of loved ones I watched die under doctors' care while doing what should have worked but didn't, or what they thought would work or what they hoped would work. There's a whole lot of guesswork in being a doctor, turns out. It's all about, let's give them some of these pills and see if that works, and let's give them some of those pills and see if that works, and let's pill this and pill that and supplement this and pill that and pills. Fuck that shit. None of the doctors are 100% right, all right? They know what they are taught. And it turns out there's a whole lot of bias in what they are taught. And it's only the really good doctors, and there are a few out there, and I follow some of those doctors that have taken a minute to take a step back and realize that they didn't get taught what they needed to get taught to make people better. Those are the doctors you gotta find. Not the doctors that are pushing ideological diets down your throat in the guise of health. Alright? I respect many doctors. I'm going to pimp a couple of them out right now. Dr. Lustig, I have great respect for. I don't necessarily agree wholeheartedly with some of the things he says, diet-wise, but for the most part, I know if I were to follow his advice, I would probably be pretty healthy. Dr. Berg, he's a bit orthorexic in his, dissection of nutrients and things that we need in our diet. He is a ketogenic advocate and is also a fasting advocate in many ways, and he is pretty good at reading through the studies and summing them up for people, and there'll be a video at the end of this that I'm linked to in the bottom that illustrates his ability to lay that out for you. Not in a you're stupid way, but in a, hey, this is the way the body works way. I want to know how my body works when I'm watching a doctor. I don't want to know their opinion. I don't. I want to know facts. Why does it work this way? Explain it to us dumb motherfuckers. Alright? Don't just come in here and say, fact! Plant-based diet cures heart disease. That's a later comment I got from a vegan. Okay, what was the fact? You said that that's the fact, and if you look, that's a direct quote of Dr. Greger. One of his videos is actually titled that. That doesn't make it a fact. I happen to have been able to find, which you will also find in the description, anecdotal evidence to the contrary, not to mention numerous studies and science that disputes your fact. And you just got to do your homework. Don't spout off one of these talking heads or myself, because I'm not a fucking expert either, and I don't claim to be, and I wish people that aren't fucking experts would stop claiming that they're fucking experts, because they're not. Alright? The only expert in how you react to what you are eating is fucking you. Only you know how you feel, how you fucking react, how your health is. The doctor you're going to see doesn't know shit. He doesn't know that you smoked that cigarette once at the bar, or that you fucking ate the dozen donuts when no one was looking. Nobody knows how you are but you. So nobody has all the data necessary to diagnose whether or not you're fucking healthy. And most of us are not fucking healthy, including plenty of vegans. I don't hate on vegans. I don't. I understand why your diet is so important to you. I understand that you also have fears for the environment and a lot of other very important things to you. And then that's why you eat that way. I'm just trying to say, don't try to bullshit us with facts that aren't facts. All right? Don't try to goad us into your diet by anything other than the ideological version of it. Convince me that cows have feelings, and maybe I'll think twice before eating a burger for that reason. But telling me that a cow's gonna kill me when we've been eating them for thousands of years? Probably not a good argument. Telling me that meat's bad for me when, if you look at primitive hunter-gatherer societies that ate a lot of meat and dairy, some exclusively, like the Inuit and the Maasai, you know, these are tribes that they studied, you know. Show me the vegan tribe. Where's the vegan tribe? Where's the tribe that consumes no fucking animals, that is thriving and alive today and still doing that shit? Because those other tribes I'm talking about, they still exist. And as they get introduced to our standard American shit diet, their health also goes down the shitter. So to me, points a bigger finger at processed foods, sugar, and all the bullshit that we eat, vegetable oils, and all of the crap that we stuff into our bodies as being the culprit, not the animals. All right? I don't know how much more of this I can argue, and because I'm not going to convince you. Let's face it. You came here as a vegan evangelist, and you wanted to insult me and tell me I'm stupid, but you didn't really bring any ammo in your guns. You know, I mean, I have not had any real super thought-provoking. That first post I read you was the only thought-provoking vegan post that I received. The only one that made me stop to say, hey, maybe they're right. Let me see if I'm off on this. And I went out and looked, and sure enough, I was not off. No matter how many vegan channels I had to fucking watch or vegan articles I had to read that tried to state otherwise, because they failed to prove their case. They failed to provide unbiased, undisputable facts that directly correlate animals to insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is the problem, by the way. That is the root cause of diabetes. That is the root cause of heart disease. That is the root cause, not animal fat, insulin resistance. And Dr. Greger would have you believe that eating animals causes insulin resistance, which is complete and utter bullshit that's already been disproven by many other doctors and scientists. You just gotta understand where some of these vegans are coming from. They want everyone to be vegan, whether it's for ideological reasons. Some are doing it for profit. Some are doing it because they're orthorexic. Some are doing it on many levels for a purpose other than you being healthy and losing weight. Now, a lot of the studies that vegans throw at me are direct assaults on fat, where they fed fat to rats, which is a little different than what we're dealing with. But, you know, we generally look to rats to point us in a direction or other, and of course they base their whole argument on it, which I wouldn't. That's just one thing. I mean, there's plenty of rat studies that could support ketogenic diet, that can support fasting and whatnot, and, you know, those were done with rats, but that doesn't make proof. Proof is when we do it. And whether does it work long term? Does it work short term? Does it, you know, these are all questions that we are currently in the process of answering. There are fasting studies going on. There are ketogenic studies going on. There are even vegan studies going on. And everyone's currently working on this, you know, but we still only have data. Nothing is proven yet. Ketogenic diet is not 100% proven yet, to where it's without a shadow of a doubt. If it was, there would be no disputing it. There would be no question, and we would eat that way. Some countries have gotten on board with that, by the way. Sweden, I believe, has adopted that as their national recommended diet. We're way behind the world here in the United States on our recommendations for diet because those recommendations are based largely on money, not your health, not the obesity epidemic, not what's best for you. No, they're based on what's best for our agriculture, what's best for Monsanto, what's best for the big food companies. That is how our diet recommendations here in the United States are formulated, because there's a whole lot of biased motherfuckers with their little fingers in the goddamn food, all right? And they will do bad science to prove their fucking point. The good news is the days of doctors thinking that they're always right and we're always wrong and telling us what to do with very little proof to really support their claims, and the days of them torturing us with fucked up drugs that really don't fix us, like statins, for example, come to mind, and, you know, sucking all of our money away with these treatments that don't work, while there are dietary things that we can do to cure some of these things. Particularly diabetes is definitely curable with a ketogenic lifestyle, and it's also curable. Now, when I say curable, I mean put into remission. No longer going to die from it, no longer going to have adverse reactions from the insulin resistance. The insulin resistance seems to be permanent, and I hope we find a way to reverse the insulin resistance. And no, the vegan diet doesn't do that either, just so you know. Once you build insulin resistance, it is really hard to go back. Vegan diet will probably leave you plenty hungry, though, versus the keto diet. Unless you're a keto vegan, which I've heard is difficult. Don't know, haven't tried it, can't make you a suggestion one way or another. Let me know if you're a vegan that's a keto, you know, which are rare, but doable. With supplementation, by the way. But the days of doctors, you know, being the gods of our health are over. Why? Because we've educated ourselves. We share our knowledge. We talk. We make things happen. We discuss things. Open dialogue on the internet has allowed us to know what the fuck we're talking about when we go into the doctor, and not just blind faith that shit. And we need to get out of that mindset. And that is what these vegans that came in to insult me are doing. They're putting their blind faith in a doctor or doctors that basically are telling them what they want to hear because they don't want to kill animals. Okay, so you got a doctor confirming your shit. That's great. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make them right. Always question your doctor. Always. Go into your doctor. If you got problems, research. Listen to every side you can find on the issue. Find the way your body works. Those arguments. How does this work? How does your liver work? How does your hormones work? These are cut and dry questions to find the answers to. Not biased, not we think this, we think that. How does your liver work? How does carbohydrates get metabolized? How does fat get metabolized? How do nutrients get into your body? How do toxins get into your body? How does inflammation work? What causes inflammation? And try and find the answers to those questions before the overall questions. Which diet's best for me? Because there's no answer to that. You got to figure out your biology. You got to figure out your particular genetics. Because some people are more insulin resistant when they're born. Yes, you can be born with insulin resistance. It's a moderate amount, which is why most people don't manifest metabolic syndrome until later in their life. You know, you can pound away at the standard American diet for quite a while sometimes before you it fucking kicks you in the nuts. That is genetic. Same thing for cancers. There's different cancers that are genetic. There is a genetic ingredient. And that's different in a lot of people. And we got to understand that. And there are some people that are probably genetically able to tolerate the vegan diet. to where the adverse effects of the nutritional deficiencies that come with that are minimized. And if you're one of those lucky motherfuckers, congratulations, you can get through life without killing animals. Not for me, and not for a lot of people. There are plenty of vegans that drop off the vegan diet because long term they develop the nutritional deficiencies. B12, there's vitamins, there's amino acids that pretty much only come from meats or fish. Shellfish in particular, I'm hearing, are really good sources of the shit that you don't get in a vegan diet. So if you could just be a vegan and maybe when no one's looking eat some shellfish once a week, probably will be okay in the nutritional department. There are implications for muscle building on a vegan diet, as in it's not going to be as easy for gains. You can ask the Hodge twins. They went vegan and got off of it. I haven't kept up with them to know if they stayed that way, but they did it. And then they said, fuck that shit. Just know what you're getting into. That's all I'm asking. That's what I'm an advocate for. I would come down equally hard on any ketogenic flaws and tell them to you as I discover them. And I've already kind of mentioned a lot of the problems. Sustainability being the biggest one, and finding clean, non-processed meats and shit like that. It's expensive as fuck. There's plenty of food deserts where you can't even achieve that. The vegetables have their own issues. I mean, there are problems with a ketogenic diet. I don't dispute that either. But if I had to pick which one's healthier, I would lean towards that one, because that one cuts my carbs and sugars down to a healthy, manageable level. 50 grams of carbs a day is pretty good, couple good portions of vegetables with maybe some berries. So, and a lot of dispute goes into the fat thing, and I've already went over vegetable oils do not equal butter, organic grass-fed, animal fats. All right, you don't want the fucked up processed meat fats because they tend to store more toxins and more steroids and more other omega-6s, and there's all kinds of fucking issues with eating processed meat or factory farmed cows that are fed the shit that makes us fucked up. And we're just getting one layer of filter between the fucked up shit and us instead of eating the fucked up shit directly, which is what you do when you eat refined grains, sugars, bad carbs. All right? Now, there are good carbs. The good carbs in vegetables, those are fine because they come with a lot of fiber and a lot of nutrition. All right? And you don't want to eat all day, every day. So to the vegans that think I am a dumbass motherfucker who no one should listen to, I agree. Don't listen to me. I just am here giving my opinion based on what I've achieved in weight loss and health, because I do feel a lot better. My blood lipids are normal. My blood pressure is normal. My blood sugar and glycemic control is normal. I am fine as a 41-year-old man. Not a lot of 41-year-olds can say that nowadays. But I'm good. I have fatty liver. That's my biggest issue, and I'm attacking that on multiple fronts. But will I ever achieve perfect liver health? I don't know. I've been fucking my liver up since my fucking teens. Drinking Mountain Dew and shit. Man, my fucking tanked my liver. So I would be amazed if I could get rid of and reverse the fatty liver I have. But I know it's there. I can see it plain as day. It jumps right the fuck out at me as I've lost weight. Because I lose weight everywhere but there. That is the first place I make fat. And it's not because I'm eating fat. All right? It happens when I eat carbs and sugar. When I'm ketogenic, that shit slowly goes down and improves. So that's my response to the vegan evangelists. To go out and do the homework on your diet. And if you want to argue with me in the comments, please do not send nutritionfacts.org or Dr. Greger or Dr. McDoodles, another one that I fucking despise. But show me some peer-reviewed studies or summaries of peer-reviewed studies by an unbiased, as in they don't have the word fucking vegan anywhere on their page or in their name. How's that? How's that for a start? I'll tell you this. I'll respond with things that don't have ketogenic in their name, and you respond with things that don't have vegan in their name. All right? Because if they have vegan in their name, I'm finding, this is a pattern I've noticed regularly, if the word vegan is in there, 9 times out of 10, it's biased and cherry picking and ignoring basic physiology in some cases and ignoring how the body works, our biochemistry, how our food is taken in and stored in our bodies and utilized by our bodies. There's a lot of misconceptions out there, and we'll get into those in future videos. So if you want those kind of responses and more of this kind of interaction, like and subscribe and comment, and I will try and get to the ones that stand out, the ones that really provoke me to be like, well, maybe I'm wrong. And the way to do that isn't to tell me I'm ugly, isn't to tell me I'm fucking stupid, isn't to tell me that I'm a trucker so I don't know shit and that doctors know everything. These are not arguments that will convince me to change my fucking heathenistic animal eating ways, alright? You're going to have your work cut out for you trying to prove to me that I'm not supposed to eat animals, because there is a whole large human history and a lot of generational tribes, multi-generational tribes, that have eaten fucking animals, alright? Now, I promised you some links in the description to videos that will help you. Alright, I have 4 videos in the description to this video that will help inform you on some of the things. Now, these aren't the end-all be-all proof I'm providing you, but they should point you in the direction to where you can Google your ass there, all right, and find the studies. Especially note Dr. Berg. He links the studies, the peer-reviewed scientific studies that he is using to give his doctor opinion on, that pretty much contradicts a lot of Dr. Greger's shit, by the way. And so let's just go through these videos. The first video that I'm going to link is Ketosis, healthy or deadly, because vegans just love to say that the ketogenic diet is bad for you, and if you eat it that way, you're sick, you're fucking miserable as fuck, shit's going bad, you're gonna get a fucking heart attack. You know, somewhere in the planet there's a fucking guy that was on the ketogenic that had a heart attack, completely ignoring what he did prior to being on the ketogenic diet, that maybe have already caused that, or maybe he ate some bad meats or some vegetable oils or some other thing that he thought was safe that may have caused the inflammation that would have ruptured the fucking carotid arteries that he built up throughout his life and caused a heart attack. But we'll just leave all that. Fuck. We don't need to know that. But anyways, Dr. Berg, Ketosis, healthy or deadly, pretty good breakdown on how our body works and how ketosis works. And it is different than what you'll hear on a vegan doctor and their opinion. So my doctor's bigger than your doctor. My doctor has a big cock and your doctor has a little willy. And my doctor and your doctor, I know, I'm already waiting for those comments. My doctor can kick your doctor's ass. No. Alright? Listen to what he's talking about. Look at the papers he's citing. Same ones I look at a lot of the time. I like to follow people that post links to real papers that I can myself go and read and interpret for myself. And you should do the same thing. Not watch a documentary that fucking vegans are fapping to and then go to the little fact page on the goddamn about page of the fucking website that's trying to sell you the fucking movie to begin with and say, well, it's on there, it's a fact. Alright, the second video, ketogenic diet and heart disease. Guy is very scientifically, using a lot of the terminology in science, don't know that this is proven. This is an anecdotal case that was used to dispute the whole only the plant-based diet can cure heart disease. And he's interviewing a guy that had a heart attack, that decided to research, that discovered a ketogenic diet can fix his issue, lower his blood pressure, and pretty much reverse his condition to where he doesn't have to take statins. And he goes into great detail on his arguments with his doctors that are telling him to do shit. And he basically went in there and said, look, doc, I'm not doing that. And he ended up converting some of his doctors. By converting, I mean getting them to question their teachings, the things that they were taught that are supposed to treat. And they're all taught statin, drug, statin, drug, statin, drug, shit. They aren't taught that there's a good diet to eat. They preach the same low-fat bullshit to anyone who has a heart attack, because they're afraid that if they're wrong and the heart attack happens, they'll get blamed. They have a textbook they go by, all right? They're not going to deviate from that shit. They're not allowed, in some cases, to deviate from that, or they could lose their medical license. It's a brave doctor that says, wait a minute, maybe that fucking book's wrong that they've been teaching me through medical school. And the way they do that is because we're out here doing our research, and we go in there and we're like, fuck you, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that because it is. And they get enough motherfuckers that keep going in there and they're saying, listen, asshole, I need a different doctor because you don't know your shit. The more of that goes on, the better our medical care gets. All right? The more likely we're going to get the proper diagnosis and the proper treatment, and that they're not just going to shotgun drugs at us. The next video I found to be a very logical, not too condemning, kind of an unbiased, it seemed to me, opinion on how vegan and vegetarian isn't sustained long term. And he asks a significant question to which vegans won't have an answer to. So you should check out the vegan and vegetarian can't sustain diets long term. Basically, he's stating that primitive tribes, you can't find a vegan primitive tribe. A tribe that does not eat animals. There isn't one. Multi-generational, throughout the years, throughout history, there has never been a purely vegan tribe that for generation after generation did not consume animals. That's a call out to you, evangelists. Go ahead and find the tribe that was a vegan tribe that never touched a fucking animal or had a dairy product or even looked at an animal funny. All right? Find that. I want to see it. On the bottom is a former vegan being interviewed. And these guys are definitely on the orthorexic side of the house as far as they are very consumed with micronutrient balance and optimal health, but they did their homework, all right? They know how the body works, they know what the problems are, they know what the micronutrients individually do. And I listened to this podcast and I was pretty happy with it. I didn't have any real bad things to say because it seemed to use science and not ideology. And he even tries to explain to you how to be a healthy vegan. There is a possibility, if you want to work hard at it and you want to know your supplements and you want to know how to fill in the gaps of not eating meat and remain healthy, which, as I go back to, is not, any diet that requires supplementation is not how we're supposed to be eating. But that's just me. But he goes over what those deficiencies are, how to deal with them, things that you can eat that maybe you should be eating, that maybe knock you out of the whole vegan thing, but you can eat them in enough moderation that maybe you can justify it. I don't know, that's ideological in that department. But he definitely goes through, he explains why he quit being a vegan to begin with, and he goes over the science and how the body works. And I got a lot out of that one. So that's the negative health consequences of a vegan. All 4 of those are in my description. So go ahead and watch those. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Please like and subscribe and comment and share and do whatever it takes to continue this conversation, because the more we go back and forth on this, the more we make each other think and evaluate, the further we can get our knowledge and the further we can overcome all of this butthurt bias that goes on in the world, and people that just get all upset and bent out of shape, like, you know, the guy Italian vegan, I think his name was, that was just going off in the comments, not just on me but on people who watch me. Apparently we're all stupid and he knows everything. Meanwhile, he didn't even spout one single fact. You know, people like that, maybe every once in a while they'll question, and, you know, because people that are like that tend to be evangelical. They'll follow one person and be like, this person's never wrong, everyone else is wrong, and this person is right. And I do not want you guys to ever treat me that way. I never want to be considered an expert, because I don't consider myself an expert. I can be wrong. I can make mistakes. I am fallible. And so are all the motherfuckers you vegans put your fucking evangelical faith in, all right? We're not all right. You can take all the knowledge that you come across and come up with your own opinion. That does not make it fact. That does not make it right. That does not make it healthy. All right? Health is defined differently for everyone anyway. It is a vague term. Basically, it means you're not gonna fucking die, you feel good, and you're able to do everything that you want to do. And if those are the criteria you're striving to achieve, then whether or not you're achieving them and that you're happy while you're achieving them, because happiness is a very important part of health. It's not good to be healthy if you're a fucking miserable prick. Then you have achieved your goal. Sorry for the long fucking video here, but I wanted to get this across. I wanted to make sure that the people that are going to come and hate on me, and there might be even more of them with this video, that we have an intelligent discussion instead of you're ugly, you're stupid, you're not a doctor, shut the fuck up, which is not going to help anybody do anything. And it's definitely not going to help the people saying that. So do your homework. If you have stuff to dispute, go ahead and dispute it. I'm not going to sit here and respond to every motherfucker that posts biased crap. I might give you a little 1 or 2 word thing that says not true, or you're full of shit, or it's biased, or this or that or the other, but I'm not going to sit here and argue. You know, I'll save that for these motherfucking feedback videos, and we will have a dialogue. And only people I feel are critical thinkers, people I feel, you know, will examine whether or not something is right or wrong and not just blind faith that shit. Those are the people I want to hear from. Those are the people I want to have a dialogue with. Those are the vegans I want to hear from. And they're out there. I've met a few, I've talked to a few. There are good vegans in the world that aren't evangelical, that have read studies, and then we can go back and forth on whether or not those studies are biased, or the flaws or the benefits of those studies, and our own experiences, our anecdotal evidence, because we all have that. We all know that guy that's the vegan that's fucking in the gym all the day, looks great, feels great, blah 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 blah. That's not proof, that's anecdotal evidence. What I'm saying is anecdotal evidence. What I'm saying is hearsay. Find your sources. Question your doctors. Put their ass to the test. When a doctor's examining you, it should be like him going back to medical school and taking a test. And if he fails that test, you need to find another doctor. All right? Educate yourself. Don't rely on the education of others, because a lot of times that education is flawed or biased or both. But remember, I'm not a fucking expert, all right? Nah, I'm just an asshole. And I'm pretty sure all the vegans agree about that. I'm an asshole. And I'm proud of it. Have a nice, motherfucking day. And shit. I'm gonna go eat me some fucking animals, because today's feast day. Yeah. Steak and shit. Nice marbled steak. I can smell the death and destruction already. I better get going.